That's a very good question, because to a degree you could argue that doing so we shoot ourselves in the foot to a certain point. There are two main things. One is we see the general trends for users, applications, funds moving on-chain. Balances on centralized exchanges are getting lower. That's one thing. So people, especially in the light of the recent, or not so recent now, events of big failures of big centralized players, when people are losing money, everyone becomes a lot more wary about trust issues. So that's one thing. Generally, the industry moving more on-chain. Second thing is it's easier to scale decentralized products. When it's decentralized and not custodial, it's not, at least not yet, subject to many of the regulations. So for us, although it's harder to monetize a customer who is, when you don't hold their funds, on the other hand, you can expand geographically easier. So it's those two main factors.
How does Wirex Business aim to address the unique financial needs of crypto companies that traditional banking services often overlook?
I think the main point here is that although it's of course much easier now than 10 years ago, than when we started, for a crypto company to get a bank account. Back then it was almost impossible. Like, it was either you fake it till you make it, or you just don't get a bank account. Now it's easier, but still not an ideal experience. Like, banks quite often won't talk to companies, and definitely not Tier 1 banks. So we are offering crypto companies an alternative, and actually a better alternative to banking, because within the same Wirex Business account you get your banking, like your European IBAN, going forward your US bank account with ACH, and going forward SWIFT support as well. You get corporate cards, and you get crypto, self-custodial crypto within the same account. So not only it's more accessible to crypto companies, it's actually a better version of banking. And we did have a quite successful pilot of Wirex Business a few years ago now, like around 2019, 2020. We had 3,000 companies in the waiting line. We had onboarded like 200 of them and started offering the service. It was actually going very well, but then we realized we're still a small startup. We are spreading ourselves too thinly, so we had to park it for some time. And since then we've been getting questions, oh, when Wirex Business, when is it coming? So now finally this week we announced, so it's back, and it's better than before.
Can you explain how the Wirex BaaS infrastructure works, and what kind of partners are targeted for non-custodial card issues?
So we recently launched the non-custodial version of a Wirex offering. So it's a card and also IBANs, where you don't have to deposit your funds with us to be able to spend them in real life. So it's very good to maintain self-custody, but if you can't do anything with those funds, it's not very useful, right? So now it's self-custodial and useful at the same time. And we do have a retail-facing dApp of our own for that, for our existing customers who value self-custody over the perks and cashbacks that they can get on the main custodial app. And it's also there for partners to see that it exists, it works, etc. But our focus with this offering is not to promote it to retail customers directly, but rather allow partners. And a partner can be literally anyone. It can be a Web3 wallet, it can be an on-chain game, it can be like any DEX, dApp, lending protocol, whoever. Sorry, you don't need to be a licensed institution, you don't need to worry about KYCing the users or about monitoring transactions, reporting to regulators. We take that heavy lifting part on ourselves. All you do is just provide an interface, and the user can get a card. And that infrastructure is available out there, so reach out to us, and we'll share the documentation and walk you through the steps, how it works. So yeah, anyone can launch a Web3 card now. And when I say Web3 card, it's really truly self-custodial, because the card transaction and the on-chain transaction of funds coming out of your wallet happens exactly at the same time. There's no such thing as topping up the card or converting fiat crypto to fiat. It goes in one single transaction.
And the last question, what distinguishes
well, metal card is just there for people to show off, right? People like showing off, and it's quite funny actually when we polled our users a while back asking what are the main features that are missing or what you would like to see. The top answers were metal card and Apple and Google Pay, which is a bit of a contradiction, right? You either pay with your phone or with your card, and now like people want both, show off the card and be able to spend with the phone. But Wirex Private is much more than just a metal card. It's actually private banking for serious people in crypto, right? It might not be so relevant in Dubai, where you can go and buy a supercar or a flats for crypto, but good luck with that in other parts of the world. And we make it possible for people who have wealth in crypto or funds in crypto or have their main source of income in crypto, because we know how to deal with it. If you come to a bank and they ask you, okay, what's the source of funds? How do you pay for this? And they hear about crypto, most probably they won't even let you through the door. We, having been in this market for 10 years now and being a regulated player and always being the bridge between crypto and fiat, we know how to deal with source of funds of crypto. So we will of course have to KYC, we will of course have to do all the due diligence, we will need to ask you for the same documents or proofs that a traditional, well, not necessarily traditional, but a neobank would have to ask you. But unlike traditional banks and even most neobanks, we know how to deal with that. So we know how to, if you show us that, yeah, I'm a miner, this is the crypto that I mine, right? Or I get paid in crypto, and it's not coming from like, I don't know, a mixer, a dark web or whatever, feel free to exchange it into 3 million euros and buy yourself a house in Lisbon, right? So it's convenient. The customer gets a dedicated account manager. They can get increased card limits, spending limits, OTC rates, and many other things.